Hello and welcome guys, we are back into Honkai Star Rail and today we are going to do something that I haven't done in a while. We're gonna play some MoC. Now the thing about this one is like by far, like by a lot, like the hardest MoCs I've ever put out, and it's not even like a joke. We're gonna talk about this real quick, but like this thing, everything like between like a fat dude over here and the Stingray, there's a lot of damage happening to you. They're both really tanky as well, and they have a lot of summons, and if you don't have AoE, you will get fucked. It's very simple. And with this one, it's a lot more manageable, but if you don't have a good enough healer, you're also kind of fucked, right? So for this one, like Lorcha can be okay, but for my experience, it's really only like Aventurine and who are really good here. And other than them, everything else is just kind of like, okay. I mean, Linksha can probably be good, but I don't know. Like, healers feels very weird here. And Warho, it's much more due to the fact that she has so much kind of like healing, and usually you would run her with like algae there anyway. So let's talk about what the problem is with this one, and then we'll get to a bit of gaming. So this one is very heavily, as you can see, wants you to have ice, which is actually just, you know, the new Herda character. Unfortunately, I didn't get that because I was saving to get Robin, so that way I have a lot more versatility for my dot team, for my phase out teams. It felt more important than to have a main driver for a Jade. And I really wanted Algae, but yeah, with regarding to Algae, unfortunately, she cannot play without the E1, so I had to get E1. That's just how it is. But let's get into it and we'll see how it handles. Now, I could play Algae on second. I know it's Aglaea, but we're gonna call her Algae for today. I could play her on second. Okay. So yeah, as I said, I can play her on second, but the problem for me with this one is that first just feels so bad to play. It does, like, I don't have the elements for it. So we want Robin here, and the reason why we want Robin is because that way we actually get her ult on time, which is very nice. And we also get the extra thingy on her. I can just normal here. Not that I needed to necessarily, but it's whatever, kind of. I can just normal here as well. Get the ult into Huahua. Yeah. So, yeah. As I said, I just don't have a lot of damage for this one. Just Jingliu, which is the only one that I have that resembles anything related to the elements that they want you to use here, is not good enough. I did see some people actually clear with her, with teams and units that I have, so technically it should be achievable, but no matter what I try, it just doesn't really work for me, is what I noticed. And I may as well use this, and that's just free action value, so I can just save it up for double attacks on aglaea. And so we're gonna do 1 big damage, and we're gonna do 2, and as you can see in like this team, we actually have damage because things are dying, which is not something like you would see for my other clears. My other clears struggle a lot, and I mean a lot, when it comes to usually my best team outside of my dot, which would be the next team outside of Aglaea, I would hit with 21 remaining, and yeah, as you can figure out, that's very bad. So I'm just waiting for him to summon, and once he's summoned, I will get the action advance with my ult, because obviously I do not want to run out of ult uptime on her. So a lot of it is just kind of like, I could let him attack, yeah. So for now I can just do my normal, let that guy attack, that's fine, because then I'll get 1 attack. Okay. 2, ult. Mem. Action advance aglaea. Attack. I do not need the skill points, so we can immediately go into Robin. Ult. Get energy. Nice attack. More attacks. 20%. I can kill him, I think, right now. I think she might be able to do 10%. Yuppers. 250k, again, just very nice, consistent damage is what you're seeing from her, which is what you like. And we are closing. I don't think I can make it on 29 remaining, but 28 remaining should be fairly achievable. And we'll get the energy. And we'll get Mem. And MC ult. Because we have Mem up, we'll also get action advance over here. Yeah, and that's the beauty of E1, is that you actually get to get your ult. And instead of it being kind of like a thing that you have to really work to get, you just kind of get it. And it's much more of a convenient action advance. Which is very nice. I think, yeah, if something decides to attack Huo, I should be able to quite easily get my ult back on her. And that was a very close what they wanted to do to my my Robin. We may as well use this one. And once we'll have Robin, I think actually this, yep, that is it. 17, what was it? 17%, yeah, that's massive. But yeah, no, this, I'm really struggling to get anything going on this one again. Just Herda, Jingle, you, Jade, anything does not work there, and I don't have any imaginary DPS, so this one's a real struggle. And I say Nikado, surprisingly enough, even though it has so much HP, it's a lot more manageable, but you need a good support, you need a good sustain for this one. And Athers and Huo, which I need for both of them, I do not have that. Theoretically, I could use Gallagher on first, but then I would not have Huo and her energy, which is actually important for that team. Because as you saw, they did have a couple of close calls to not getting my ult back up. Even though this Abyss, this MoC does give a lot of energy. So, let's get right into this battle. And this one's a lot more complicated one. It's a lot more RNG based. You really want to not get fucked. And the first thing in the not get fucked list is hope that the guy on the side there who can imprison you will not imprison anyone who is important. And initially we can just start by attacking just the dude in the middle. Yeah, and that's what we want to see. We want to see Gallagher getting hit, because he's the best one. He has enough effectors to tank that. And I might not have was forced to use his ult there, but I just felt like it because I needed the extra. Okay, I needed the extra healing, or at least I felt like I want to have that for me. And if I can break that guy, then that is important. If not, a normal attack. Yeah. Alright. I probably should have healed, but that worked surprisingly okay. I should have saved. There's so much that I can do here that would have been better. And I am not gaming. Yeah, because that guy should die to the DOT, or should be very close to dying. Yeah, he's very close to dying. And that guy is also very close to it, so I'm not too concerned. I'll have my Gallagher. Yeah, let's have actually, with Acheron. He'll die. Will the other do die as well? No. I really don't want to lose the cycle here, but I feel like I have to. And it will give me energy to make second phase. To make Nikador a lot easier. So let's go into this one. This is the more difficult one. So I am waiting with my ults until he summons those guys. And now that he has, I can start using all of my ults. And what I mainly want to do is I do want to kill the actual summons. It is very important, but initially I would rather just focus on him in the middle to get his armor all the way down. That way whenever I use an AoE attack, it will... I can afford to use this one. And now I can ult with Acheron to do a good chunk of damage to everything. Okay, and we'll just focus. Now we can start focusing the summons, and as you can see, that does help as we focus him. Because again, as long as we are not too rushed into attacking the summons, right? And now we kind of are. So now he revived that one as well. And again, I will just try to focus and get the kills on as many of them as possible. I should probably focus the ones that are related to Acheron or Black Swan, because they are my least... Okay, he will... I can just do 1, do 2, do 3, try to kill it. If that doesn't work, then this should. And he will... And he will not die to the ult. But that's okay. So... Yeah, this is the part where, like, it actually does become a bit problematic. Because if he goes into that phase too early... So what I need to do is I need to preserve... For now. I kinda have to use this early, or else my characters will die. Okay! I mean, they lived, so I was wrong, but that's okay. He still got to take down some of his thingies. Technically, I am wasting stack of an Acheron, I am aware of that, but that does allow her to do a lot more damage to the summons, which I do desperately need, because this phase is a lot less forgiving on the times that you have to do that. And once again, we'll use Gallagher to hopefully get more things hitting on Ikador. That way we are able to do more damage to him outside of killing the summons. Okay. Immediately we'll use this one. We use our abilities as often as we can. The more hits we can get on him, the better it is. I could theoretically use... Yeah, we can do that. We are very close to... Okay. If he attacks in AoE... I don't think it's enough. But it's just Gallagher that's alive right now for that one. We can try. Oh yeah, that will not work. Okay, Gallagher got CC'd, but that's fine. Okay, we'll kind of hopefully survive that. We do. We do. Okay. Okay, that's lovely. This. Okay. We are back in here. Nothing has died yet, which is very good. And once again, we'll just use all of our ults to hopefully get some progress on him. Oh, we got a break. That's really nice. And yeah, once again, we'll focus the side with Acheron and Black Swan. We'll attack in the middle to get stacks on him going. And yeah, we should have enough debuffs to... Yep. And once we've done that, an Acheron ult should be able to finish him. 1, 2, and 3. Something will die. Yes. Oof. Very nice. And yeah, a bit... This... I think this boss is very fair. I think similar to the monkeys here. I think this is one of the most fair bosses we've had, because while it does encourage you to have AoE, the mechanic where you do a lot of damage to him when you break the shield, I think is very good. And again, the fact that it's weak to imaginary being like Aventurine, the fact that it's weak to Quantum, you know, being like Jade, Lightning, which is like Acheron, Kafka, Algae. I think these are these are things that are a bit more available on the AoE side, you know. Even Fush one I wouldn't say is really good, but someone like QQ can work as well, I think. Like, you have a lot more options that are AoE related with these elements that are a bit more manageable. And with these guys, yes, it's very obvious Super Break or like Herda, right? I'm not saying that it isn't. Like, the lower cost of these teams are a lot worse. Like, that's how it feels to me. Like, you know, if I just have like Rune Mei with like Harmony MC and Gallagher, that's not enough, right? I need like Rune Mei and Fugu and like Rappa or Firefly or, you know, or Linksha. You know, I need one of these characters, so it's like you need 2 premium support plus like a premium DPS. And a lot of these are like characters that were released very recently, right? If you think Rappa is a 2.7, Linksha is like a 2.5. They've all been like... Oh no, Rappa is a 2.6, I think. They've all been like very close together. Fugu is a 2.7. And so you need like one of these characters at least. And if you went for any other ones, right? Which happened to me, right? Between like Fei Zhao and Algae, I skipped all of these characters. I don't have any of them. And it's not that you need at least one of them, it's that you need at least 2 of them. Which, yeah, unfortunately makes it so that if you don't have at least 2 of them, you don't have those premium teams that do a lot better. Because it used to be that Super Break was much more accessible in the past, and now it isn't. And again, for Herda, I think her teams are a lot more manageable. But because she does so much damage on her own, where the rest of the team just enables her rather than like really allows her to reach her max potential, it feels like her team are a lot less expensive, you could call it. But also, again, it requires you to specifically have just her. There are no other characters who can do that, you know? It's not good enough. Again, right, if you look at here, it's not good enough to have just Jade. If you're Quantum, you need Jade plus Herda. You need Jade plus even small Herda, but I doubt small Herda will be that good because they probably don't have enough DPS to get too much of their follow-ups going in there. And it just feels very bad to play, again, mainly first because the cheese that you used to do in the past is not really here, I feel. And, you know, obviously, yeah, my teams are very heavily invested, you could say, but it really makes you feel like if you skipped any of the recent characters, you aren't able to do first. Meanwhile, with second, if you have Acheron and you have Zhao Cho, it's a lot more manageable. If you have Aventurine, it's a lot more manageable. You know, you have a lot of these older units that are still good. And first requires you a lot of the more newer unit, you know? Because now I brute force it with Algae, right? But like, I don't want to brute force something with the characters that doesn't work, especially when it's clearly she's designed for second, not for first, right? But yeah, that's kind of it for this one. It just felt very frustrating. I spent hours on this one just trying to get it and figure out what team would be good. And yeah, like Dot managed to be good, but again, I have a very heavily invested Dot team, which should not be something that's quote-unquote relatable. So we'll go over the builds. As you can see, we have Algae, a lot of crit rate, a lot of speed, some crit damage. We are on the signature weapon. We are basically maxed out on the traces. We are on speed with the crit damage planar set, and we are on E1. Again, E1 is very important. Without the E1, she is by far the most frustrating character I've ever played. With the E1, she's a lot more manageable. Thankfully, I did get lucky enough. I got the E1 early after losing another 50-50, so I just barely had enough to get that one. We'll go with Warhol again, kind of like a bit more of a heavily invested character, fully maxed out on the Bailu light cone healing set, and then like attack set. Like, yeah, it's not the best, but I do actually also have E1 on her. Extra speed plus less skill point requirement is very valuable, and I thought it was very valuable for so many things that I use her with, so I had to pull that one, or at least I pushed it for 50-50, and I did win that one, so that was very nice. RMC, very great addition, a bit of a Bronya, you could say, character, but also a bit different. Less reliable in terms of when you get the action advance, but the buffs are very nice. On the free-to-play Lightcon, I do have it all the way at R5. Talents are essentially maxed out. E6, and then speed, and the new planar set that gives attack. And we are on ER as well, so we have a lot of crit damage, ER, and that's basically kind of it for him, and a lot of speed. Robin is one of the weirdest characters I have. We have a good chunk of attack, a bit of speed, and that's kind of it. That's all you want from her. We are on the Bronya Lightcon for the extra ER. We are basically maxed out on the talents. We are on attack, and again the new planar set. And we are on E0 on that one. Gallagher, a lot of speed. A decent chunk of break effect, and we are on ER and a decent chunk of effectors as well. On the new, actually, I like when I got it. Gives an extra 8% of speed, gives a bit of energy, felt very nice to have for him. But obviously, you could play Quick Pro on him, free to play, and very good as well. I just, you know, I was like, speed, why not? Basically, maxed out on the talents that you really want, which is his healing, everything related to that. And yeah, our build is a bit messed up, but we are focusing just speed, break effect, healing bonus, and ER. And we are on E4. I'm not even all the way up to E6. So yeah, that's our Galagal. Well, Kafka, a lot of attack, not that much, but a lot of speed, a decent chunk of break effect, barely enough effect hit rate. On the free-to-play Lightcon, maxed out on the important talents, and then 4-piece dot, 2-piece planar. It's a very nice. And again, usually on these teams where I run her, I get a source of 10 extra speed, whether it's Runmei or whether it's Warhol, so I am able to get the full effects of this 2-piece, which is nice, but again, it's very minor improvements. Same for Black Swan, she is slightly faster, she is on the signature. And she is fully maxed out as well on the traces. Again, 4-piece dot, and then 2-piece of Space Station. Yeah, Space Station. And then E2. We do not talk about the Black Swan E2 incident. And then Acheron, decent amount of attack, very good crit ratio. 100 speed, so no speed investment. Maxed out on the talents. We are on the appropriately Black Swan Acheron Lightcon. I do have a good chunk of super imposition on it. I did try to snag it on the weapon banner whenever it was there. And we are on a fairly decent 4-piece. Again, obviously just crit, attack, and that's kind of it. And we are on the planar set. The easy modes is for her. And we are on E0. So she's doing okay, but again, without Jojo, you really notice how much more she can do whenever you see her with him, and how much she's a bit slower, doing a bit less damage than she could without him. But yeah, again, I found this MOC very frustrating, very long. It really made me despair over how it really punished you for not going for any of the recent characters. And while, again, I am able to brute force it, right? E2 Acheron with signature, E1 Algae with signature, you know. I don't think that that's what the requirement should be, you know. I don't think that you should have a team that's super heavily invested into, that is able to brute force certain content, instead of having teams that are just able to fit themselves to that content, you know. Again, the best example is the Monkey Boss. it like, yeah, you know, it's weak to like fire, ice, lightning, and imaginary. So it's like very obviously super break oriented. But when you play against him, you can see that it's also Acheron, it's also Dot, it's also follow up with ice and fire. You can even use Himekauser. You have so many options for him. And that's the thing, you have all of these options that, you know, from so many different aspects, that it's not just, do you have a super invested super break or do you have Herda? You know, do you have Algae? You know, it's not this type, it's just, do you have all of these teams? At least one of them is good enough to be able to get him, right? Whether it's follow up, whether it's super break, whether it's Dot, whether it's just Acheron. You have so many more options available to you. And even then, like, it doesn't need to be like a super heavily invested. It just needs to be a good enough and a competent enough team for that. I know I went a bit ranty, but that's kind of it for this one. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Until then, bye.